Quarterbacks were drafted after the first round over the weekend, with the first pick in the third round went to the Cardinals. They drafted Carson Beck. Since the Cardinals moved to Arizona in 1988, they've used 40 different starting quarterbacks, tied with Washington for the third most in that span. Later in the third round, the Steelers drafted Drew Allar. He is the 19th Penn State player selected by the Steelers in the common draft era. In the fourth round, the Jets traded up to draft Cade Klubnik, the 10th quarterback drafted by the Jets since 2010 alone. And then the Chiefs drafted Garrett Nusmeier out of LSU in the seventh round. The former Tiger had over 4,000 passing yards as a full-time starter in 2024. In 2025, he only started 9 games after battling with an abdominal oblique injury. Peter and Dan are back here with us. Let's look beyond the quarterbacks, though. What was the best first-round non-quarterback that was selected?
I think it's the non-first-round
Non-first-round quarterback.
That's what I meant. Non-Ty Simpson,
Thank you.
non-Mendoza. And I look at Carson Beck and Ty Simpson, and I think this is a really fascinating case study. Carson Beck was in college for 6 years and played a lot of football and started a lot of games, 43 games at a big program, Georgia, and then a big program, Miami. Had big numbers. We saw it, and we almost saw too much where it was like, all right, I don't love him. Ty Simpson, in also 6 years of college football, backed up Bryce Young, backed up Jaden Milroe, only started 15 games and yet got picked before Beck. These two are now in the same division. Beck probably will see the field before Ty Simpson, and he went several picks after. I am not the person to tell you who's the better quarterback. Dan Orlovsky, you do the film, you do the work. These two might not even belong in the same conversation to you. I just believe, I look at the experience, I look at the big game performances. Carson Beck does have a resume that he said, hey, I can at least compete with Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett this weekend. And I do think in some draft rooms, Carson Beck was held in a similar conversation as Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I would agree. Carson Beck for me, for a lot of the reasons that Peter intimated. I mean, 55 games in college. So the experience in big games, in the SEC, in the national title, nothing's going to be too big for him. I think when you're looking at Arizona, Gardner has signed there for more money than Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby has come out and said, I need some type of a pay raise. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's asking for $45, $50 million. But I do think he's sitting there going, if I am going to be your starter, you're not going to pay me, I think, $6 million this year or something, which seems outrageous to think about. So we'll see what kind of happens over the course of the next couple weeks and or months in regards to Jacoby in Arizona. I think because of that, because of the state of the team, I think that Carson's got a chance to maybe start to plant the flag if I can be your starting quarterback week 1 because of the experience. I think Arizona's really talented. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. I love their receiver, Mike Wilson, who's the number 2. Trey McBride is great. They draft Jeremiah Love. So I think Arizona's pretty talented on the perimeter, and offensive line has to improve. With Drew Allar and the Steelers with me here, Drew Allar looks like Tarzan. I mean, he is cut out of a stone.
You know how that saying usually ends, though.
Correct. And there's a little bit of that. And I'm a fan. I want to champion Allar, but he's got to play better in big moments. I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Allar's talented. You just want him to play better in big moments. I thought Nusmeier would go sooner. Cole Payton might play for the Eagles in a multitude of roles. I don't expect it at quarterback, so I'll go back.
I'm with Dan when it comes to Allar. Me being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, openly admitted, Peter, Shay, Dio. I mean, out of Penn State, first 311 pass attempts in his career without an interception. Can scramble a little bit. Not known for making negative plays. Obviously got hurt in November, the broken ankle and stuff like that. Concern him coming back from that. We'll see. Arm strength, no doubt. 6'5", 235, like you said, Dan, built. Got an NFL body, got an NFL arm, can make throws in the tight windows, whatever. 2 concerns stand out with me. Number one, the level of competition that you went up against. When you went up against top 10 teams, AP, 1-6 was your record, while completing just 50% of your passes at 5.5 yards per attempt in those games. Not impressive. The other thing is they use words like frenetic and panicky when it comes to him under pressure. That definitely concerns me. I don't like that at all. But I'm counting on Mike McCarthy. who prides himself on being a dude that works well. He's a quarterback whisperer, per se. If Aaron Rodgers elects not to come back, then you're talking about Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, or him. I like his chances. I don't like the panicky part, but I love his size. I love his arm strength. I love his build. I love the fact that he's from Ohio. You know, that weather, those weather conditions that exist in Pittsburgh and stuff like that. Mike McCarthy alluded to that, his size, his arm strength. That's the kind of thing you need when you're playing in Pittsburgh. You know, and that was in those weather conditions. I know it firsthand after being there for that damn playoff game. I was freezing my behind off, and it was windy too. So you understand that what's required in Pittsburgh. Don't know, but don't mind the Steelers taking a chance on this brother. I wish him luck.
So I don't know if he's the best, but to me, from where I sit, it feels like the situation for Garrett Nusmeier could end up being the best. He doesn't have to play right away, or maybe he can compete to play right away if Patrick Mahomes isn't ready to go to start the season. However, to sit back and watch one of maybe the best quarterbacks of our time, like who else is going to be in a situation like that? And also, remember Garrett Nusmeier on LSU, like disastrous season last year. Not only was he injured, he had Brian Kelly being fired towards the end of the season. Like, I don't know that he tapped his full potential because the year before that he was so successful. But maybe, I don't know if he's the best quarterback that wasn't taken in the first round, but the situation he could potentially be in, did we all think Patrick Mahomes was going to become Patrick Mahomes? And then he went to the Chiefs, sat for a year, and now look what has happened.
I can't get excited about Garrett Nusmeier for a multitude of reasons. First reason would be this is a bad quarterback draft class, like bad. Not saying these guys can't overcome that, but there was only one real surefire first-round pick. Ty Simpson becomes the second one. There was a drop-off, then Carson Beck. For him to go in the 7th round with the quarterback from Rutgers and Talon Green going before him, like that tells me that the league spoke and they weren't in on Nusmeier. And for him to go there, Justin Fields is above him on the depth chart too.
I know that.
Maybe as a watching thing, and you might like him, and it would be a great Tom Brady-like story. But of all the years to fall to 7th, this one really was one where it's like, yeah, like the league really spoke on this.
Yeah, I really think the guys that are in the conversation to be impactful into the NFL,
right.
I would as quarterbacks, because I think there's some guys that were drafted in maybe athletic type of roles. The young man out of North Dakota State and maybe a Talon Green. I think it's Carson Beck and Drew Allar. And
Do you like Nusmeier, though? Did you like his tape?
I liked Nuss. I did.
Because he was supposed to be a first-round pick going into this season.
Yeah, my only concern with
but he's
Nusmeier is
hurt.
there's not a throw that he doesn't like. I mean, it is gunsling away. And at times he makes them, at times he doesn't. I think he's going to have to figure out to manage all that. But the likelihood that Carson Beck is more than likely going to play this year for the Cardinals, more than likely at some point. I don't believe it'll be Allar unless Aaron decides not to play. Again, I believe Aaron is going to play. So realistically, it feels Carson Beck is the only one that is going to actually have the chance to get onto the field and play.
Well, good news for Carson Beck. Isn't he like 24, 23? He's an older.
He's been in college football since 2020.
Exactly. He's an older quarterback, so, not young, and he knows a lot of football. Okay, coming up here on First Take, after Karl Anthony Towns